In addressing our theme, Is Your Best Good Enough? I'd like to start by reading Galatians 6:4. It says, "But let each one examine his own actions, and then he will have cause for rejoicing in regard to himself alone, and not in comparison with the other person." We're told to examine our own actions. So ask yourself, how am I doing spiritually? Am I happy with my attendance at Christian meetings? Do I participate by sharing meaningful comments as able? How about my personal study of the Bible? Let me examine my involvement in the ministry. Could I do better in preparing for my return visits? Do I conduct any Bible studies with interested ones? If so, am I content with what I am doing? In effect, you're asking yourself, is my best good enough? We might see others in the congregation that are doing more than we are. But then we look back at Galatians 6:4 again, and it clearly said that I should not compare myself with the other person. So we could quickly assume that we're doing what we can, reasoning that it's good enough. But let's not forget the first part of the verse. We are to examine our own actions. We need to compare what we are doing with what we personally could be doing. We need to be active and not become self-satisfied and overconfident. 1 Corinthians 10:12 provides this warning. "So let the one who thinks he is standing beware that he does not fall." But you may say, I'm doing my best. What more can I do? Take a good look at your best. Scrutinize it. Examine very closely all you're doing with the time that you have. Can mundane activity be replaced with theocratic activity? What do you see? Is your best good enough? It may be, it may not. It depends on one's outlook. What are some examples? A runner in a race, he practices, trains, eats the right things, keeps a lean, healthy body, wears the best running shoes, and so forth. He gives his best, but loses the race to someone faster. His best was not good enough. Why? It was compared to whether he was faster than his competitors. Johann Blake lost to Usain Bolt in a 100-meter event in 2012 by just a fraction of a second. He did his best, but his best wasn't good enough. A mother and daughter. The daughter is in the second grade of school. She brings home a picture she drew in class. The teacher had put a B- on the picture. The daughter shows it to her mother, and the mother crosses out the B- and puts an A+ on it. She then tapes the picture on the refrigerator. What is the difference between the teacher and the mother? The teacher compares the student to other classmates of her age. The mother grades her according to her best, not in comparison with others. Jehovah does not compare your best with the best of others. Let's look at Psalm 103:14. When Jehovah examines our spiritual accomplishments, what's one of his measuring sticks? Psalm 103:14, "For he well knows how we are formed, remembering that we are dust." Dust is used figuratively, indicating mankind's frailty and lowliness. Remembering that we are dust, Jehovah never asks more of us than we can give. However, he expects us to obey his commands to the best of our own ability. Mark 12:30. You can likely quote it from memory. Verse 30 says, "You must love Jehovah your God with your whole heart and with your whole soul and with your whole mind and with your whole strength." This embraces everything we have, all that we are. You go in service. You use your whole strength to accomplish it. That's commendable. But what good is it to use our whole strength going into the service if our mind cannot direct our tongue to say the right things when we talk to a person? I used a lot of my strength walking from door to door, climbing stairs, and so forth. And yet no one let me get past my introduction. Question: was that the best introduction you could give? How long have you been using that introduction? Would a new one help? Would using your whole mind by means of advanced preparation result in making your best even better? Have you tried to use some of the introductions demonstrated at our midweek meetings, or some of those found in the reasoning from the Scriptures book, pages 9 through 15? What does the householder see in your face when she opens the door? Is your countenance radiating pleasantness and kindness? Does she see good news or bad news? Do you look happy or sad? The message we're commissioned to deliver today is the good news of the kingdom. We expect it to change sometime in the near future. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, you can do better. You attend all congregation meetings and pay rapt attention with your mind. You're to be commended. But is that all that's required to love Jehovah with our whole mind? Are we meditating on the knowledge that we receive at our meetings in order to draw close to Jehovah? James 4:8 says, "Draw close to God, and he will draw close to you." That's one benefit we receive from our meeting attendance. Let's read Hebrews 10:24 and 25. This is another benefit of regular meeting attendance. In this way, we give and receive encouragement. Verses 24 and 25 read, "And let us consider one another so as to incite to love and fine works, not forsaking our meeting together as some have the custom, but encouraging one another, and all the more so as you see the day drawing near." Do you give comments at meetings? Are they well prepared? Do they encourage your brothers and sisters? Are you giving your best? If so, then your best is good enough. What about your personal study or family worship? Are you doing your best? Is your best good enough? I read all the Watchstars and the Wakes when they come out, you say. It goes without saying that that's good. What did you find in what you read that will deepen your love and appreciation for Jehovah and draw you closer to Him? Do you use your whole mind to meditate and continue to think about it, thus spiking it down deep into your heart? Some things we learn may not be immediately applicable, but can be regurgitated and applied later as needed. Are you giving serious attention to the spiritual needs of your wife and children? Yes, you have a family worship most weeks. That's commendable. Do you prepare well for it or just throw something together at the last minute? What if your wife just threw something on the table for dinner each evening without giving any thought to the health needs of the family? Think. Is your best good enough? We can slop a pig and he'll enjoy it, but give the same garbage to a cow and she'll ignore it. Why are we considering is your best good enough? It's only as a reminder to look at what we think to be our best in what we're doing for ourselves, our families, and our spiritual brothers and sisters. And remember, our best is not compared with the best of another brother or sister. Only Jehovah knows when we're doing our best. He is a righteous and fair judge. Our knowledge, even of ourselves, can be faulty due to inherited sin. Therefore, it's wisdom on our part to keep examining ourselves to see where we might improve. So, is your best good enough? I'd like to think it is. What do you think?